What is going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be taking a look at the PC port for Madden 23, even though probably a lot of you out there aren't big football fans or Madden fans, and Madden does not have the greatest track record when it comes to the latest games. Not John Madden the coach. John Madden the coach is an amazing man, legendary coach for my favorite team, the Raiders, although back then they were playing in Oakland, now they're in Vegas, obviously, and we are looking really good this season. But we're going to jump in and take a look at the graphics options, talk about the performance on the PC, which is not running the latest version of the Madden engine, so to speak, that they'll be using on the next-gen consoles. They're actually using the release of this game that will be put out on the PS4 and Xbox One X and One S consoles, which means it'll be missing its new physics field sense mechanics that is like the big selling point, I guess, for the new Madden, which is kind of shitty, to be honest, and I don't know how they continue to get away with this, giving us the old versions of the game on the PC, and especially this year, the new FIFA is on PC, has the next-gen version of the game, so not really sure why Madden was left out in the wind. But yeah, we'll get into the graphics options and we'll talk about the game, so let's get into it. But first, today's video is brought to you by PrimeTechMart.com, where you can save money on software like Windows 10 Pro licenses for under $25. They've also got Windows 10 Home for under $20, and now Windows 11 Pro you can grab over on PrimeTechMart.com. They've also got Office 2019 and the new Office 2021. And if you want to save an additional 20% at checkout on Windows 10 or any other software, go ahead and click Buy It Now, and during the checkout process, go ahead and put JP20 in and apply that coupon, and that'll give you 20% off of any software that you happen to pick up over there. So for Windows 10 Pro, you can see it dropped our price down from $24.46 to under $20. So be sure to hit up the links down in the description below, and don't forget to use my coupon code JP20 at checkout for an additional 20% off. Now, I have to say right off the bat, before we get into the graphics options and talk about that, my favorite thing about Madden 23 so far is John Madden himself. The fact that he has been brought back into the game with the old character models of him back during his coaching years for the Oakland Raiders, where he led us to 2 Super Bowls and then retired at a very young age just so he could focus on family life and stuff like that. Really great man. I highly recommend the All Madden documentary that came out. I believe it was at the end of 2021. I've watched it a couple of times. It's really, really good, and I definitely recommend checking it out. And the focus on John Madden in this game is very, very prevalent right from the start with the legacy game that they have built into this that has some rosters like AFC versus NFC and classic sort of like all Madden players like they used to have back in the day, back in the 90s and stuff. When you would pick up a Madden game, they would not only have the current rosters, they would also have all Madden teams or like classic teams where you could play as like former teams, which for some reason they got rid of. I don't understand. I guess it's licensing with the players, which was obvious in the legacy game as the rosters were fairly limited and some of the slots were filled by modern players. Not that they couldn't be, you know, legacy or all Madden type caliber players like Tom Brady. Obviously, someone like Tom Brady has a place on the all Madden team. But yeah, it seemed a little anemic, honestly, the rosters, but there were some great ones on there. Marcus Allen, Howie Long, Tim Brown. Yes, I'm focusing on Raider players. They had Rod Woodson, but sadly no Charles Woodson. Like, what the hell? And they play in the old Oakland Coliseum, so that was pretty cool, too, as a Raider fan. For me, seeing the focus on John Madden in this game is fantastic. So I love all of that, and so far, I'm enjoying this new iteration on Madden. But we're here to talk about the PC port. I know I'm just gushing about John Madden and the Raiders because, well, that's honestly what I just feel like doing because I'm a huge Raider fan and John Madden fan. So let's get into the graphics options here on the PC. As you can see, for all my playing, I was at 4K on a 3080 Ti 9900K, playing in full screen mode. For anti-aliasing, it defaults to FXAA, which is what I was using. You can also disable it, or they have MSAA, which will be fairly more taxing, but with FXAA, I was running at a locked 144 frames per second during gameplay sequences, and I'll talk about the frame rate in a little bit. The frame rate you could set to auto, you could lock it to 30, 60, or turn it off completely, but I had it set to 144, which is the refresh rate of my 4K monitor. It does have HDR support, which I did look at briefly, but I didn't record in that because it doesn't come through well on YouTube, honestly, for people that are watching on SDR displays. VSync, you can do on or off triple buffering. There is DirectX 11 and 12. I did all my playing on 12, didn't really have any issues. I could definitely tell at the beginning it was sort of compiling some shaders as it loaded into the game. But once you're actually in the game, it runs smooth as silk. Rendering quality I have on custom because there were some things by default that were turned off. But we've gotten here 3D grass, bloom, SSAO, depth fog, whatever that is, and lens flares. Those can all be turned on or off, as well as high-res circular depth of field. Not sure why they didn't use the same on-off. Oh, I guess these have off, on, or auto. Okay, so this one's just on or off. There's no auto option for high-res circular depth of field, so I just answered my own question. And coming down to the bottom here, only a couple more options. We got mesh quality, shadow quality, as well as crowd quality, which I had all cranked up to ultra, which is the highest they go, but they have low, medium, high, and ultra. And I don't really foresee anyone having issues running this game on PC. It's not that particularly taxing, which you should expect, as it is, like I said, running the last-gen version of the game that'll be released on PS4 and Xbox Series consoles, or not Series consoles, the Xbox One consoles, I should say. Sorry, it's confusing naming scheme for the Xbox systems, in my personal opinion. So, discussing frame rate, when I was playing the game during, like, actual gameplay, like actually playing, locked 144 frames per second for me. I mean, a couple times maybe it said, like, 142, but it wasn't even fully utilizing my GPU. It was only around, like, 70 to 80% usage most of the time, as the actual gameplay sequences are not that taxing. The other times where it does drop is during some, like, I guess you can quote-unquote cutscenes, or, between the plays, or going out of the quarter and into a new quarter, where it would sort of pan back and show the whole stadium, or before the game when it's first loading in and you're seeing the players run out and the outside of the stadium and things along those lines. I did see the frames drop down into the 60s, sometimes low hundreds, but, obviously that's fairly inconsequential, as those are just cutscenes, and they still ran very smooth as well. And really the main thing to focus on is when you're actually playing the game, like actually in control of your players, the frame time graph is flat, the frames are good, and it is running very, very smooth. So as far as the PC port is concerned for Madden 23, I'm fairly pleased with it, except for the fact that it is the last-gen version of the game. So I definitely would like to give them some shit for that, like major shit EA should be getting for giving us the last-gen version of the game, when obviously our modern PCs could handle the complexities of fucking Madden if I'm running the game at 4K maxed out at a locked 144 frames per second. Like, do you not think we could have handled the physics-informed animation system field sense that they have in the next-gen versions of the game? Of course our PCs, many PCs, modern PCs, could have handled the next-gen graphics and visuals and physics system that Madden 23 will be getting on the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. So it's a bit shit that they did that, and in that regard, honestly, I'm tempted to just give them a fucking 1 out of 10, but given what we got, the port is solid. You're definitely going to want to play with a controller. That should go without saying. There's mouse and keyboard support. Sure. I would never want to play a Madden game with a mouse and keyboard, although I guess if that is your only option and you are really committed to playing a Madden game, I suppose you technically could play with a mouse and keyboard, but I did all my playing on a PS5 DualSense controller, which I had plugged in over USB, as that's the controller that I'm most familiar with nowadays, as I play on PS5 also, as well as PC. So I'll definitely be checking this game out on console as well. On my PS5, I already downloaded it with the EA Play trial. It's a 10-hour early access trial for the game, even though the full release is not until the 19th, which will be this Friday. So you can play it right now, though, if you want to, with the EA Play trial on Origin. I guess as well on if you can get EA Play on Steam, you can probably do it on there as well. And it's available on the consoles too with the early access if you have EA Play. Otherwise, for everyone else, it's out Friday. But you also might get early access if you buy the All Madden edition for like $80 or $100, which is definitely not worth it unless you're really into Ultimate Team for some reason. I cannot stand that Ultimate Team stuff. I mostly play for the online against other people in one-on-one, and also for the franchise mode. That's mostly what I play as franchise. So Madden 23 on PC, solid PC port, I guess, given it's the PS4 or Xbox One version of the game. But yeah, performance is good, and really not any other complaints besides which version of Madden 23 we ended up getting here on the PC. So if you're going to be picking it up, let me know down in the comments below. And go Raiders. Cannot wait for the football season to start. I've actually even been watching preseason thanks to the new NFL Plus thing that they came out with this year, which gives you access to all the preseason games. But other than that, I'll be Sunday ticket the games during the entire season. So that's going to be good. Cannot wait. Every Sunday, Raiders, baby. Let's do it. Just win, baby. And I'll catch you guys next time for another video. Peace.